We can't cancel the trip because of a cold, my mom said. My daughter was lying under an 4, and they were posting pictures from the villa. It all started with a notification from AT&T. Family plan updated. Primary user Lola Green. New payment, $376.44. I was reheating leftover chicken and broccoli. Lyra was upstairs, half asleep, half oblivious. The fever had been lingering since last night. I'd maybe slept an hour. 2 tops. There were 3 new rooms on the plan. My parents. Lydia, my sister. All connected to me. No warning. I checked Chase. Autopay was on. I turned it off. Deleted everyone except me and Lyra. 3 minutes later, the first message came through. Did you remove us from the family rate? Not family friendly, Lola. Then the second. We trusted you. Don't complicate things any further. I didn't say anything back. I went to the insurance website. Lyra's urgent care is $420 copay. Plus deductible. Plus meds that insurance doesn't cover. Lyra coughed upstairs. Dry. Shallow. I took her to urgent care. I called my mom on the way. Lyra's choking. She needs an x-ray. I'm a couple hundred short. Can you borrow it? I'll pay you back after payday. There's a TV game playing in the background. Wheel of Fortune, I think. Lola. You're always panicking. She just needs to rest. The doctor said it's urgent. X-rays. We just prepaid for the trip. Do you know how much it costs to fly overseas these days? It's crazy. Where are you going? Sandals Resort. Jamaica. All inclusive. We leave Thursday. I didn't say anything. I didn't say, what about Lyra? I didn't say, are you serious? I just didn't say anything. We deserve it, Lola. We're not young anymore. And you've always been able to handle it. You're the resourceful one. That wasn't a rejection. It was an affirmation. I paid what I could through Zelle. The rest on my credit card. With interest. Lyra was kept overnight at the clinic. Diagnosed with bacterial pneumonia. When we got home, there was a FedEx box on the porch. The label read, "May the trip be unforgettable. Love, Team Sandals." The address was my parents', but the order was placed through my Amazon Prime. I logged into my account, deleted them from Prime, from Family Access to iCloud, closed access to Google Drive where their taxes, documents, DMV forms were stored. All of this I'd kept for years. Now I don't. The next day they posted a photo. The beach. Coconut. Dad in shorts and pineapple. Captioned, "Time to take care of ourselves. #deserve #soulcare." I saved the post. Dad called tonight. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. "You really upset Mom. She was crying. You know she has a heart. We're family, Lola. Don't make a drama out of it. Just do the right thing." I turned off the sound on the chat room. It got very quiet at home. Later I sat in the kitchen. The laptop was open. The insurance website was freezing. The pharmacy was calling. One medication was out, the other was not covered. The refrigerator was nearly empty. Milk ran out in the morning. Lyra asked for oatmeal. Made it with water. Upstairs she fell asleep again. She was breathing shallowly. I turned on the old baby monitor. It's from back in the day. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I made tea. I sat in silence. Listened to the refrigerator humming and her breathing. Later I opened up my Google Calendar. There were entries for my parents' trip. Every day. Every meal. Seafood. Catamaran cruise. Couples massage. I deleted the calendar. At 2:18 a.m. the notification came. Mom had created a shared vacation photo folder. No message. Just pictures. I opened it. The first one was at the airport. The second was cocktails. The third was feet in the sand. I closed the tab. Something in me just shut down. No hysteria. No speech. Just a click. Silence. I went to CVS this morning. I bought what I could. Used coupons. The rest came out of Venmo's balance. From returning a dress from a month ago. The cashier asked if I wanted to donate $1 to Children's Health. I said no. I think she gave me a judgmental look. I wasn't being cruel. There was just nothing else to give. I warmed up some rice at home. I took Lyra's temperature. 100.7. Better but not normal. Called the doctor. They said fluids, rest, come back in 3 days. Mom wrote this afternoon. It was a bumpy flight, but we made it. We hope Lyra gets better. I didn't reply. 2 hours later, a video from Dad. Steel shot pool, Mom drinking something bright blue. I watched it without sound. I deleted it. I went to Bank of America at night. Minus. Transferred the balance from the savings account. Canceled 2 subscriptions. Audiobooks and food delivery. We don't have a dog. They had one. Baxter. I walked him more than they did. Then they gave him away. Too much trouble. I remembered that when I closed PayPal. There was nothing there anymore. A year ago, my mom asked, "Will you sign as a co-borrower? It's a formality. Just a piece of paper. No risk." I said yes. Of course you did. Parents. Now I wonder how many more I signed, not out of trust but out of habit. Lyra called me. I went upstairs. Stickers on the cabinet from when she was 5. Asked for a ginger ale. I didn't have any. Said tomorrow. She nodded. That's okay. She never asks for much. I went downstairs again. Opened the laptop. Looked through all the accounts. Bank. Utility. Verizon. Then their iCloud folder. Old photos. Took up my space. Downloaded them to an external drive. Deleted their access. Made a list. Freeze credit rating. Remove joint authorizations. Check documents and powers of attorney. Each item is one step away from them. Quiet. Consistent. Final. On Saturday, the neighbor was watering the lawn. He waved. I nodded. In the box, a HOA ballot. Threw it away. Made a menu for the week. Rice, beans, frozen peas. Bones to make broth. Silence in the house has become the norm. No phone calls. No messages. On Sunday, an email arrived from Experian. Someone had checked my credit. I hadn't applied. Called the bank. The check is from Florida. I didn't do that. I froze my profile. Filed a request for an investigation. Requested a report. Later found an old email in my shopping cart. Request for a joint bid. My name. Again. That's it. I didn't respond. Didn't explain. I just printed it out. Put it in the box. Sat on the porch. Regular blanket. Cheap coffee in a reusable mug from Starbucks. Stared outside. It was cold. Quiet. And finally mine. That night I checked through old paperwork. I found my parents' tax file for 5 years. It's all in my name as a trustee. All my signatures. Next to it is a real estate power of attorney. No date. No discussion. I didn't remember signing it. I went to TransUnion. Confirmed the freeze. Then I went to Equifax and Experian. Logged everything. Called the DMV. Checked to see who their car was registered to. I wasn't on the list. But I still had my old addresses. I got the insurance address. I got the inspection. Changed the address. I put a filter on all incoming calls from the old IDs. Then I turned off the lights. Just sat there. The house was quiet. Lyra was asleep. No one called. No one knocked. The first night in a long time without expectations. When Lyra was discharged, the house was cold. Not from the temperature. The emptiness. She sat on the couch with a blanket, eating rice and beans. Quiet. The TV didn't work. I hadn't paid the bill on time. I put the kettle on. Checked the mail. First on the list was a letter from my mom. No subject. I opened it. We're going back. Sunday. Don't worry, it went great. Were you able to cope? I closed the letter. I didn't reply. An hour later, a notification came. An attempt to authorize an Apple ID. Mine. From a hotel in Miami. They had an old copy of my login. I reset the password. Turned on 2-factor security. I deleted all my devices. It was a precaution. The next morning my mom called. I didn't pick up. I got a text saying, "We brought you a present. We need to talk." That evening they stood on my doorstep. Tanned. Cheerful. Dad with a suitcase. Mom with a bag. "We missed you so much." She said. "So tell me, how are you?" I stood in the doorway. I didn't back down. I didn't invite her in. She came through on her own. They put the presents on the table. A turtle magnet. A t-shirt that said Jamaica. Glitter lotion. Why are you so glum? It all turned out okay, Mom said. We paid for everything well when we could. I didn't say anything. Dad opened the fridge, looked at it, closed it. You're empty. We thought you'd at least order something. I sat across from you. Relax. I have no desire to discuss your vacation or my cooking. Don't take that tone, Lola, Mom said. We're family. You realize how hard it was for us to plan this. We didn't do it on purpose. I pulled out the file. I put it on the table. This is a power of attorney. This is a copy of the loan application. This is the tax return where you used my SSN. I saved everything. Mom went pale. Dad froze. Are you going to blackmail us now? He said. No. I'm just not involved anymore. I stood up, pointed to the door. No screaming. No hysterics. Just pointed. They walked out in silence. Mom tried to say something. I shut the door. I slept that night. For the first time soundly. No anxiety. In the morning, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Then a letter from Wells Fargo. Your credit limit has been revised. Then an email from the insurance company. Someone was trying to request access to my medical records. The request was in my father's name. I called the bank. I told them it wasn't me. I asked them to put it on record. Then I closed all the joint accounts. Removed them as beneficiaries. That took 2 days. The third day my mom texted. Are you crazy? We were just trying to help. You're making us look like monsters. Are we supposed to go to the street now? I didn't reply. In the evening, a neighbor brought a box of food. Said she'd heard about the hospital. Just help, no words. I said thank you. Simple. Nothing too much. It was the first non-canned food we'd had in a week. And the only one we didn't have to pay for later. The next day, I decided to tackle something I'd been putting off for years. Opened the Experian tab. Checked the history. 6 requests. 1 was signed by me. The rest were in the family's name. I printed them all out. Marked them with a marker. I made copies. I took them to the notary to get them certified. I never took anyone else's word for it. Then I went to the DMV. There was a car they bought 2 years ago. The insurance is on me. I filed a disclaimer. No more covering other people's accidents. In the afternoon, I got a text from Lydia. Really? What did you do? Now my mom cries every day. Are you out of your mind? I deleted the chat room. In the evening, I went to my Google Docs. There were old spreadsheets. Budget for the cottage, receipts, shopping list. All my handiwork. I deleted them all from Access. Archived the documents. Transferred them to a separate disk. I wasn't angry. I was just recording. Mom wrote again. You've always been cold. You keep everything to yourself. Now you're getting lonely. I didn't answer. I made tea. I cleaned the carpet. Washed all the warm clothes. Cleaned up the house. Lyra slept well. No cough. I checked her temperature. 98.5. I tucked her in and sat next to her. Quiet. There was barking outside. The neighbors were coming back from their walk. I looked at the front door. It was locked, and I knew no one would just walk in. On Monday, the lawyer called. An old acquaintance. I'd left him a message on Saturday just in case. He said he'd be willing to help with a financial disclaimer if necessary. I thanked him. I told him I could handle it on my own. He laughed. Now you sound like an adult lawyer. I turned off autopay for their internet. I deleted my card from Uber. Unsubscribed from their Amazon account. On every level, a way out. It wasn't a one-day solution. It was like a prolonged exhale that I had been putting off for a lifetime. When I finally clicked remove access, my hand didn't shake. On the third day, I pulled their emails out of the box. From when they were still handwriting. You're a smart girl, you'll do great. 1996. We're counting on you. You're the only normal one left. 2003. You're like a pillar for us. Without you, everything would fall apart. 2011. I put them in a box. I didn't burn them. I just put them out of sight. There's a water bill in the mailbox. Not mine. It's their address, but it's in my name. I took it to the management company. Said it was a mistake. Return it to the address. It's not my problem anymore. In the evening, my dad texted. You're making this so complicated. Mom's nervous. She's got pressure. I didn't reply. They're used to it. If it's bad, I'll solve it. If it's an emergency, I'll find the money. If they're uncomfortable, I'll lend a shoulder. It's been like that for 20 years. Not anymore. I made myself a cup of coffee. For the first time this week with milk. I got change from the drugstore. I sat on the porch. Lyra was reading comic books on the couch. I watched the leaves fall. It was windy. It was empty. And it was quiet. The phone was silent. No calls. No complaints. No you should. Just me. And silence. No debts. No expectations. No weight on other people's shoulders. Because if you say yes all the time, they forget you can say no. On Wednesday, I paused all automatic transfers. I canceled the pension fund. Parental insurance frozen. Remote access to my iCloud disabled. Mom texted again. Longer. You've ruined everything. We didn't deserve this. It's cruel. You're not part of the family anymore. I didn't respond. That evening I filled out a change of address form for all the tax forms. The new one is just mine. Just my house. Just my information. I clicked save and closed the laptop. For the first time, not with anxiety but with confidence. Then I went to the kitchen. Checked the cupboard. There was some rice left, a can of beans and a packet of pasta. Enough for Friday. That's enough. On Friday I stopped by the bank in person. Not over the phone. Not through an app. In person. Sat down in front of the manager. Gave her father's name. Date of birth. Confirmed. All transactions in the last 3 months involving my number, my address or my signature, without my consent. Manager nodded. Said he'd run a check. I signed the application. Got a copy. Requested notices by mail. Then I asked him to close all the accounts we had together. One was old, opened in 2009. The other was set up without my knowledge. He was surprised, but he complied. I went outside. It was quiet. I stood there and just breathed. It wasn't a victory. It was the end. They called all evening. Then silence. No emails, no texts. Just likes on old photos. My mom tried to leave a comment under Lyra's picture. I deleted it. Blocked both profiles. The next morning, Lydia called from a different number. I didn't answer. Half an hour later, a message from her husband. You're seriously ruining everything. It's just a crisis, Lola. You could be above it. I didn't reply. On Saturday, I put everything away. Old photos into a box. Shared files to a disk. Letters into a drawer. Everything that connected me to them, physically and digitally, was gone. I didn't retaliate. I didn't explain. I just crossed them out. Sunday was empty. I made breakfast. Scrambled eggs, bread, and apple. Lyra was drawing by the window. I looked at her face. Calm. No tension. We went outside. We bought milk. I even smiled at the clerk. He said, "It's been a long time since you've been here." "Yes," I said. "We've been busy." On Monday, a letter arrived. An unstamped envelope. Inside was a vacation photo and a note. "You'll regret it. You don't leave your family behind." No signature. I tore it up. Slowly. Without anger. Sheet by sheet. That evening, I disconnected the old number. I bought a new one. No family plan. No extra lines. Just me. On Tuesday, I got a letter from the lawyer, notifying me of the termination of my power of attorney. Mom initiated it herself. She wrote that she saw no point in maintaining contact. I signed a reply saying, "I agree. I acknowledge termination of all obligations." It was short. It was clean. On Wednesday, I closed the file drawer. I put everything in a separate box. Signed. Passed. Put it on the top shelf. Not to throw it away. Just not to touch. I sat on the porch with a cup of coffee. Lyra next to me. It was cool outside. Quiet. There was no clarity ahead. But neither was the debt. I'm not saving anymore. I'm just living. Before leaving the bank, I lingered at the counter. I picked up a booklet. Financial Independence for Women 40+. Not because I needed advice. Just symbolic. I held it in my hands as I stood at the stoplight. Then I threw it in the trash. The parking lot was empty. No calls. No waiting. I stopped at the grocery store. I got bread, soap, batteries. Everything on the list. On the way out, I noticed a woman at the checkout counter who looked like my mom. Same way of holding her bag. Same walk. I turned away. That evening, I reviewed the autopay lists. I found another one. A monthly donation in my name through their foundation. There was my parents' address. Their signature. My card. I canceled it. I wrote to the foundation. Donation made without consent. I attached a scan of my passport and a bank statement. I got a reply the same day. Thank you. The refund will be processed. I reviewed all the subscriptions. Netflix, Spotify, HBO. Only one for me. The rest are someone else's. I got one for myself. Turned the rest off. They were no longer part of my evenings. My internet. My network. Wednesday night I went into an old folder on Google Photos. Their dad's arms from fishing. Mom's feet on the beach. Lydia's wedding. Lyra's birthday. I only saved 3 pictures. Everything else has been deleted. 3 pictures. That's all that's left. On Friday I put the pass box in the closet. Locked it. No key. No symbolism. Just closed it. I went through the house. Everything was in place. Nothing had collapsed. No one was yelling. No one was demanding. And that was the strangest part. Nothing had happened. Just silence. Pure. No guilt. Later I went to the post office. Picked up a letter, a copy of the tax notice. There's nothing on my record anymore. Everything's been reissued. It's their signature. Not mine. I scanned it. Archived it. I put it in the same box. Saturday Lyra and I baked muffins. No recipe. Just with what we had. She laughed when the flour went a dusty cloud. It was an ordinary day. Ordinary but completely ours. And for the first time, not with hindsight. On Sunday I got a postcard. Mom's handwriting. No stamp. Just in the box. You've always been a difficult child. We tried. But you turned away. We're hurting. Is that what you wanted? I didn't read any further. I tore it up. Burned it in the sink. Washed the ashes away with water. No emotion. Then a letter from my sister. An email. Lola, you could talk. You're an adult. You need to be taller. It's just fatigue. Mommy's worried. Daddy doesn't sleep. You're only thinking about yourself. I closed the mail. I deleted the address. I put a filter on it. Redirect to cart. In the evening I went to Facebook. I opened my profile. Cleaned out my friends. Deleted family stuff. Photos. Marks. Comments. I only kept Lyra. And a couple friends who never asked for anything. Then I changed the setting to just me. Everything I do is mine now. On Monday I printed out a list. Just a checklist. Unlink all cards. Close family accounts. Change legal address. Update IC contact. Reissue powers of attorney. 5 items. All completed. When everything was completed I just sat down. Not to celebrate. But because for the first time there was no need to fix anything. There was no noise. There were no other people's demands. No we need to talk, or don't make a big deal out of it. Just a room. And silence. I woke up the next morning without an alarm. Didn't check my phone. Didn't wait for a catch. I just went to the kitchen. Boiled some water. Made tea. Lyra came over. She hugged me. She asked, "Are we okay now?" I nodded. We are now. That evening I cleaned the fridge of old notes. Shopping lists, reminders, call mom stickers. It's all in the trash. I put up a new magnet. Just the word calm. Turned off the laptop. Turned out the lights. Sat in the chair by the window. It was raining outside. Light. Almost imperceptible. I watched it drip down the glass. No thoughts. No words. And there was more freedom in that silence than I'd ever experienced in my entire life. I don't explain anymore. And that's enough.